Our top story this evening on Up South is from Karnataka, where Shimoga town is tense following a violent communal clash late on Thursday evening that left one person dead. The police believe that it was an organized plan to foment communal trouble in Shimoga town. They have imposed prohibitory orders till the situation returns to normal.
It was an unruly and aggressive mob that Shimoga police had to control on Thursday evening, when a rally by the Popular Front of India, an outfit that claims to represent the interest of religious minorities, Dalits and tribals, took a violent turn. One person, 32-year-old Vishwanath, was stabbed to death, following which the police imposed prohibitory orders in Shimoga, about 300 kilometers from the capital, Bangalore.
Police Norali 144 section ಹಾಕಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಕಮ್ಯುನಲ್ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಪ್ರೆಡ್ ಆಗದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೋತಾ ಇದೆ. ಕಮ್ಯುನಲ್ ಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಯಾರೇ ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಕಠಿಣವಾಗಿ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತೆ.
Trouble broke out when over 1,000 people took part in the PFI rally, even though the police had given permission for only 600 activists. Ugly slogan shouting by a rival group reportedly was the reason that sparked the clash. Many shops were the target of arson that followed. 50 people have been arrested and the police has stepped up night patrolling. On Friday morning, the situation in Shimoga remained tense and schools and colleges remained closed. With Pratibha Raman in Bangalore, Bureau Report, Headlines Today.
Let's get a perspective from former IG Intelligence of Karnataka Police, Gopal Hosur. Mr. Hosur, you would agree with me that this kind of a communal clash is usually not without any kind of preparation. Someone is there behind the scenes pushing the buttons. Is that the sense you get from a distance as a former intelligence man, that something like this could have happened?
Yeah, I think the incident that took place in Shimoga could have been prevented and should have been prevented. Whenever there is a notice to the police that a procession is going to be held by a communal organization, the police ought to have taken all the necessary precautionary measures. In this case, what I understand is that there was a procession of about 10,000 people of the Popular Front of India passing through Shimoga, and that at some point of time very provocative slogans were made, very provocative slogans which actually hurt the sentiments of the people who were watching it. And thereafterwards, I think at some point of time, it triggered the violence that took place later part of the evening. And I think these kinds of processions need to be regulated much better. Probably a lot of stringent conditions have to be put, and a lot of intelligence has to be collected about the type of people who are participating in them and the likelihood of a violent fallout of such processions.
Mr. Hosur, there's also a jostling for the Karnataka vote taking place. There was a VHP event. There's going to be an MIM event, which of course now is not taking place. Now this one-upmanship between the RSS and the Popular Front of India. Do you see some serious attempt being made to communally polarize the different parts of Karnataka?
No, this polarization along communal lines, I strongly don't believe in it as of now, because the elections in Karnataka are quite far off. They are not in the immediate future, maybe within the next 6 months or 8 months or 1 year. It's still 2.5 years to go, and hence I don't think so that these are the attempts. But nevertheless, we have been seeing that over the years, not only this year or the previous year, over the years, communal organizations do hold rallies, processions, protests right through the year. And the march by the Popular Front of India on the occasion of freedom, the RSS holding their rallies, the Vishwa Hindu Parishad holding their rallies, or the MIM leader trying to come to Bangalore and hold rallies.
Right.
These all indicate that there is definitely a movement to awaken the people on communal lines.
Right, Mr. Gopal Hosur, thanks a lot for joining us with that perspective from Bengaluru. Now, news of civic negligence from the capital city of Karnataka, Bengaluru. A man drowned in an open drain near a pavement which was upgraded near the Garuda Mall, which is a popular landmark in the city of Bengaluru. And in fact, this is not the first death which has been reported from an open drain or an open manhole in India's Silicon Valley.
Whatever police have registered the case, the law will take its own course. I will caution my engineers and contractor to be more cautious in doing such works. It's unfortunate that a person has died. It has happened in the night. And we'll see that adequate precautions are taken by the builder, that is constructor, and also by the engineers.
So will you be taking strict action against...
That's what, I need to get the report. I've asked the report from the engineers. Once I get the report, I'll take action.
On Tuesday this week, it was this very drain where a 32-year-old's body was found dangling. One look at this drain would give you a sense of the civic apathy that we are talking about that has now killed a civilian. And to give you a sense of this particular area, it's a very important junction, and one pan would show you this is one of the central areas of Bangalore where there is also one of the famous shopping malls that people frequently visit. And this particular area has been dug up for nearly about 1 year that we are talking about, and absolutely dereliction of duty as well as negligence on the part of civic authorities. One question to the BBMP, they say that they will order an inquiry and only then will they take stringent action. But here, we are talking about the inconvenience to the public. How long will the public have to keep quiet? Sir, I'm sure you have been frequenting this road quite often and you've seen this road that has been dug up all the very time. And how much of an inconvenience it is to you? Could you actually elaborate?
So I'll be traveling from here. Actually, my office is in Manipal Center, so I'll be traveling from here and there. I'll be calling the candidates, and actually the clients will be not waiting for us because of the traffic and because of the BBM pollution. So they'll be moving from there. I'll be getting late, and many people will be getting late from here. So
the traffic is all the time chock-a-block in this particular area, mainly because there's also a bus stop in this very road that we are talking about. And this is one of the important roads that connects both the Bangalore North as well as the Bangalore South. But how long is the public going to keep quiet? How long will the civic authorities continue to be negligent like this? Is the question that Bangalore citizens today raise. With camera person Madhu, Pratibha Raman, Bangalore, Headlines Today.
While millions of Indians fans will be rooting for India in their clash against South Africa this Sunday, there are cricket-crazy fans who will be praying at a temple in Chennai. My colleague Shisha Reddy also prayed at this temple today and sent us this report.
Popularly called the Cricket Ganesha Temple, a 11-headed Ganesha made out of a single stone is its presiding deity. Yes, you understood it right. That is to represent the 11 players of the cricket team. The man who built the temple is a die-hard cricket fan, K.R. Ramakrishnan.
I have set up idols like left-handed batsman, right-handed batsman, right-arm bowler, wicket-keeper and fielder who is taking the return catch. And of course, my main idol is the 11-headed Ganesha, who has his 5 heads with the left trunks, signifying that he will help the left-handed players, and 5 trunks are turned to the right, signifying that he will help the right-handers in the game. And he holds a ball on his left hand and a bat on the right hand with 100 inscribed on it, signifying that he will help bowlers and batters equally, left-handers or right-handers, and with 100% performance.
This World Cup, the footfalls of cricket fans has increased manifold.
We have full trust in all the players. Consistently, they are playing good, they are world class. So we have full confidence, there is no doubt. But as a team, we'll click, and by prayers, everything can be changed. So here what we are taking the blessing of the God Cricket Ganesha, and we are sure that we'll be winning World Cup this time too.
We have been offering prayers for so many years, since 2001, and last World Cup also we won. So the same way we did more puja and homam also, and we have been doing it for every week.
With Cricket Ganesha being the 16th member in the Team India squad, fans believe that he will repeat the 2011 magic, and the men in blue will bring back the cup for the second consecutive time. With camera person Daniel, Srisha Reddy in Chennai for Headlines Today.
That's it then on Up South this Friday evening. News and updates will continue on Headlines Today.